Good day everyone. In this video, I'm gonna share you some tips on how I passed the board exam. Tip number 1. Collect reviewers and study in advance. I would never forget this important advice of my instructor when I was still in college to really study reviewers in advance. While you are still in freshman year, make an objective to finish reviewing a book in that year. Along with studying it, familiarize how the questions are constructed. If you can finish a book with 1,000 of questions given in 1 year, then you have already familiarized 4,000 sets of questions after you have graduated. So start now and aim for the top. Tip number 2, learn the concept. Don't just memorize the meaning of a concept, learn in depth. During the exam, the question won't require you to identify the meaning of a concept. Rather, it would ask you how is this concept applicable to a particular situation. Tip number 3, don't rely on what's there. Do your research. Not all answers given in the reviewers are correct. If you would come across a question that has an answer that you think is not quite correct, don't let it slip without digging up the correct answer. You can go back to your notes and check whether the answer of that question corresponds to what the question is really asking about. You can also compare it with the other reviewers from different reliable sources. Tip number 4, study with a group. If you have friends who are willing to study with you, you can invite them to have a group study. Just like what we did when we were still preparing for the board exam, I asked my friends to stay in my house and we made a schedule for studying. We seriously follow what was written in the schedule. The advantage of having a group study is whenever there are confusing questions or unfamiliar concepts raised, you can directly ask your friends regarding this matter. If you prefer to study by yourself, don't resort to falling asleep. Tip number 5, relax your mind. Give your mind a break from studying 1 or 2 weeks before the exam. I find this very helpful when I took the board exam. In this way, my mind was able to relax after how many months of studying. I was no longer cramming for this won't help anymore. Instead of doing so, do things that would help you relax your mind and body. Go out, watch movies, talk with your family, and see sunsets. Be ready mentally, physically, and emotionally. Tip number 6, expect that not everything that you have studied will come out in the exam. Don't rattle over an unfamiliar question. Use the elimination technique. In the 4 options below, eliminate 2 options that you think are far from what is being asked. After the elimination, try to weigh the remaining options. Prefer what do you think is the closest possible answer for that question. Remember that most of the time, your instinct is right. Pray, pray, and pray. Pray although the exam is still far and continue praying even after you have taken the exam. Ask wisdom from God while taking the test. Believe that He is with you while taking the test. Above all, whether you are in freshman or senior year, claim and believe already that you will pass the test. God bless co-educators.